join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome all to the December 20th Board of Aldermen meeting. Start first with minutes of the previous meeting, December 6th, 2021, and I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded. Any corrections, alterations? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We are outside the rail. Are there any members of the public here who wish to address the board on items not on the agenda? I do not see anyone who appears to be. So moving on, communications from the mayor, Mayor Allaire.
So thanks. Just very quickly, I had sent out, Judy Frazier had sent you out an email memo this afternoon regarding tightening up our mask policy here as far as folks coming into City Hall, our city employees. We had an outbreak at the Department of Public Works over the weekend. Luckily, only one we've identified as positive, but that person was in contact with probably a dozen other DPW employees last week. So on the recommendation of our emergency management director and a city health officer who believes that the best way to combat that here, at least internally, is to, at least for the short term, institute a mask mandate for all city employees and all people coming into any city buildings. So we're going to refine that tomorrow morning at a department head meeting and try to fill in the details. There were a couple questions that have come up since we sent the memo out, but again, just exercising caution as much as we can. We want to keep everybody healthy, and as much as I don't like mandates, that's the recommendation, and I understand the reasons why, and so that's what we're doing here. And it will, as of now, commence tomorrow morning at the start of business. So just wanted to update the board on that.
Thank you, Mayor Allaire. Any questions for the mayor? All right, very good. We're on to additions and deletions to the agenda. If I could just get a motion to add the setting of the water and sewer rate for fiscal year 23.
Second.
Right, we have a motion that's been seconded. Would all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Brings us to reports and letters from department heads and officials. Up first, Brennan Duffy, RRA, BIAP recommendation, page 1 of your packet.
Good evening, everyone. So we have another recommendation coming from the Redevelopment Authority. This is for a new business that will be opening at 124 Strongs Avenue. The business name is Green Mountain Liquidation Center, and our applicant, Dennis Piper, is here with us tonight and might want to tell a little bit more about what he's opening there. But he's been working diligently for quite some time to get the store ready to be operational. They meet all of the requirements for the BIAP program, and the RRA's recommendation is for a $5,000 grant that will help offset some of the significant investment that's gone in. And if, Dennis, would you like to say anything?
Wonderful.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. I'm looking forward to being a part of the city of Rutland and having my business here. With that, we're going to be offering household goods or home goods for the public at discounted rates. It's going to be a discount store with just a community feel. I want to make sure that I keep that within this location, is making sure that it's a comfortable store for people to come to, shop in, especially for people that don't want to go into the big box stores. It's gonna be a great thing, I think, for the local economy as well as the local people here in Rutland.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Right, we have a motion to suspend the rules. It's been seconded. With all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And I'll move for the approval of the BIAP grant for $5,000 for the Green Mountain Liquidation Center, LLC.
Second.
Right, we have a motion. It's been seconded. Any questions, comments, Alderman DePoy?
And I think it's the old Rutland TV building, right?
That's
Now,
correct.
I see the investments, the dollar amount, but what are you planning on doing with the building and the property?
Mark fully owns the building.
Okay.
So, hopefully within the time that my lease ends with him, then maybe he'll look to sell, which I've heard he doesn't do very often, but, you know, if that's the case, then, you know, I'd like to take ownership of the building in the long run and, you know, move forward with that.
Okay, thank you.
That was my question. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none. We have a motion. It's been seconded. Will all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, and best of luck.
Merry Christmas.
Right. This brings us next to Treasurer Markowski, Treasurer's Report, November 30th, 2021.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm reporting on the November 30 financials. I emailed them to everyone before the budget meeting because I thought it would be helpful to have for that. So I'll just do a real quick update. The cash balances are high. In that cash balance for the general fund, you still have the 3.5 million that goes to the school for the second quarter collection. And also we're carrying that 2.2 million in ARPA. So when you're looking at that cash balance, it's high there. The delinquent report, when you look at that, we had a reduction of 63,000 from October to November, so that's a good collection month for us on delinquencies. That's great. When you're looking at the pooled cash, we're still only seeing the water fund is the only fund that's carrying a positive cash balance right now. The auditors have been in, so I take advantage of that. And how are we going to resolve the parking fund we talked about? What's the best way to handle that? Because we will have to resolve that deficit at the end of the year. So likely, if collections are good and stuff, maybe that cash position will remain. It's about 15,000 right now, so that's going to take a transfer. At the end of the year, we'll likely transfer cash from the general fund to the parking fund just to resolve that deficit. We also have the deficit in the transit fund. I reached out to Laz actually to check and see what their revenues are really below what the target was for on the Laz budget, and it's mostly just a timing collection thing. We'll watch it though. We'll see what we get from for the next few months to see. I think it was just monthly parking passes, monthly parking commitments that hadn't been paid. So hopefully that'll be better as we move forward. And again, sewer fund still really has due to the city of 1.1 million that balance there, and it's the projects, and just the sewer fund has a little bit lower cash, but the first quarter billing, we saw the increase in fees in sewer, so we should see that turn around as we go through the year in the sewer fund. I also wanted to point out the unassigned fund balance is very strong at 2.4 million. So I believe that if we have a good year, keep our expenses down, revenues high where we are, we should have some good funds to put toward the tax rate, given the budget that we just reviewed, just approved the other night. That should help support that budget. So fingers crossed, still early with 5 months in, but general fund revenues and expenses, just reporting on, they're really on target at about 41%. Water and sewer funds, when you look at those, the revenues are low, but you only have one quarter revenue in the financials right now. So the next bill will be generated end of December. So then I just wanted to highlight some of the things. In November, we actually had a payoff of the library bond from 2012. We made the final payment in November, so that's a $46,000 that a principal payment. And the audit is still ongoing. They'll be back at City Hall on Wednesday, and I think they're just finishing up grants, reviewing grants and revenues, actually. So it seems to be going well, that's what they're saying, but we'll see when we get the report. ARPA, I'm working on policy and hoping next meeting to have an updated purchasing policy that's more to conform with the policy standards for federal expenditures for grants, so that, we haven't spent any ARPA dollars, but we really need to have our policies in place before we do that. So that, and then another thing that I'll be working with the assessor on is personal property tax. We have a lot of delinquent personal property tax. If somebody closes their business, they don't let the assessor know, then the bill hangs out there. So we have quite a bit to work on there. We really want to focus on those and work with the assessor on maybe see some come to abatement, but actively look to collect some of those balances. That's what we're working on.
So I just have a question, Mary. It just kind of popped in my head. Maybe a year ago, maybe more, we talked about Airbnbs, so for revenue.
Yes.
And how we became aware that they were existing. So Andrew had talked about
Software.
thank you.
Software, yeah.
That would be available. So hopefully we'll be able to connect into some of that with the state and have
Right,
some idea
we
what's
have
out
collected some. I wished I had the number. I can give it to you in December of what we've collected. And it's really, we just get an installment. We don't have any record of what it's from. We just get a check. This is what your Airbnb. What Andrew software is going to really identify those properties, and he, based on the review that was done, we should be collecting quite a bit more in revenue there.
So it also brings up a question. I got a phone call from a resident who lives on a very nice street. I guess I'll put it that way. That's extremely residential, single family, who are seeing lots of Airbnbs, who aren't really pleased with that because there's a lot of transient traffic, things like that. People who are here to enjoy themselves and not really conform to the neighborhood as it exists, or how it's I don't know. I just think we should think about that. I don't know that we want to limit it to by zoning type of stuff, but I just think there are some concerns out there of it just being a different use, I guess, in a neighborhood that's extremely residential.
Right, and I think that's what's going to help Andrew, that software, identify those properties that aren't registered or whatever. So maybe to see, and then from, I don't know what process, if there's a permit or something that you need to do that, but I think that will identify those properties.
Well, and I
better
think
for-
it just, I'm kind of looking at Billy, because if we don't have a process, we're going to need a process.
Okay,
For
yeah.
something,
Yeah.
So the city's aware, the city has its revenue source, et cetera, but also they conform to the use of the neighborhood.
Correct, yeah. So hopefully that, when that comes in. Yep,
Right, thank you.
okay?
Alderman Caruso?
Yes, Madam Treasurer, just to explain this, I got the report here, and then I went to your report, and it says on page 3, I believe it is, prior year delinquent taxes. I guess it's each year of what's delinquent.
Correct.
And then the next row down says 2022 taxes, interest, and penalties due, so that's after you rebill,
Right, that's the current year that we're collecting right now.
and that's good and bad taxes in there?
No, that's, the current year is not delinquent, not until after the May 15th
Okay, so
installment.
that's just delinquent.
That's the current year billed.
We have
and received.
$15,502 out there in
Yes,
in
because two of
penalties,
those
and
installments are 7.7, yeah, so,
that's penalties, interest, and taxes, right?
right.
Wow.
Well, the third and fourth quarter, which is making up most of it, is all still current. So there's no penalty or interest on that. That's current.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay? And I should note, well, we're looking at delinquencies, so I'm glad you have that, because when you look at the water and sewer delinquencies, we're really going to we have some really large balances in water and sewer. We may have to look at shut-offs. I just, that's going to take some review and approval by committee, but we should at least have that maybe in the spring on some of these, because they get so high that it's not something to be managed. We try to get on payment agreements with as many as we can, but some of those there's a group that are in the $5,000 range on water and sewer.
Wow.
So,
That's 820,000?
yeah, well, that includes the current bill to 525 in delinquent over 90 days, and then the 277. But yeah, it is a high balance, and it's been growing. We had a lot of scheduled rate customers after the meter changeover. So if they didn't change their meter over, they may have gone from a $100 bill to a $700 bill per quarter. That doesn't take long to build up with that.
So, if I may, are they mostly residential, or are they mostly?
I think when I was looking at the list, I would say mostly residential, some of those larger ones. Yeah, we have 2 of the larger ones scheduled for tax sale. And I think there was a large one at the end of November, and I think it paid. It was sizable, 20,000, so, yeah.
So there's a story kind of within the story. If those that don't pay make it a burden on those that do pay, I mean, we got to get the money somewhere, right?
Always, yeah.
So if that money came in, we wouldn't have to raise the rates so high, right? I'm just, makes sense?
You know what, I don't get involved in the rate study, and I think the rate study is more of action, not so much dealing with the delinquencies as what we expect for revenues over our expenses is how we get to that rate study. So, yeah, it certainly helped the cash positions in the fund, yeah.
Explained it well, thank you.
Okay?
Alderman Gillum?
You don't have a shut-off policy now? Or
We do not.
You do not have one?
We do not.
Okay.
We've shut off before.
We have shut off before, but we have not actively followed that policy. So I know that DPW is working with the city attorney, you know, on looking at that policy. And during COVID, in all fairness, you can't shut off.
That should be a move of last resort.
Yeah,
Right, and you know what, in some of these cases, if we did it last resort, we wouldn't see $5,000 balances. We would try to get them before, yeah. So,
Give Sharon the wrench, let her go do it.
okay,
Thank you, Mary.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Chief Lovett, update, RFP, contaminated soil.
Yes, I'm here tonight just to inform the board of the status on the request for RFPs on the contaminated soil at the fire station. And as of today, at the end of, at 2 o'clock, we had no bidders. So I'm requesting for permission from the board to contact the people that we sent the bids out to, solicit a proposal as far as a price, and then once I determine which one is the better one, bring it to the Board of Finance to get the process moving. Now, just to give you an idea, I did talk to some of the bidders that didn't want to bid and asked not to be given a copy of it. Some said it was too close to the end of the year, feared the project just might tie them up too long. Some thought it was too small to bother with. Some said that buying the permits for 10 more days in December didn't make sense for them. So I'd like to kind of dig in a little bit more, and prior to tonight, it wouldn't have been appropriate for me to reach out to them. So with the board's permission, I'd like to go forward with that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion to suspend the rules, it's been seconded. With all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
So moved.
Second.
Again.
All right, so I have a motion that's been seconded to authorize the chief to solicit bids from potential sources. Any discussion? Alderman Caruso?
Yeah, Chief, I just remember a gas station somewhere locally having a similar problem, and they hauled it to, like, I think it's only over and beyond Whitehall, where they take and process it, or whatever they do to it, decontaminate it or whatever. Is that something, is it like a lot of it that we couldn't do? We have dump trucks and drivers and...
And actually, that is one of the people that I had solicited it from. They have to be licensed with the state to be able to deal with it. Also, the trucking company has to be licensed to transport
I see.
the material. And depending on the analysis, there's quite quite a document, and similar to the Manhattan project as far as detail. I'm not sure if it has to go to an incineration or it can be put in a landfill. You know, when I sent all these invitations out and all these details to each of the vendors, and they were, you know, investigating it. So I couldn't solicit what they found out because of the bid process, so.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, you might have said it
Oh,
was a
yeah.
great idea.
Well, it's real hard situation. You want to take care of it and take care of it right.
All right, thank you.
Alderman Dunges?
Chief, aside from the inconvenience of having the piles where they are, is there a deadline to get it moved by?
There isn't actually. My fear is come springtime, I want to get it off the property before additional property becomes part of the problem, but.
Absolutely. So I would say then let's message that in your solicits, because putting a rush on it might increase the cost, right? So if we can say, yeah, wait till you have a permit
Yeah.
for another job, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get some indication on how to make it more cost effective.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, so we have a motion that has been seconded. Would all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you much. Happy holidays to you.
Merry Christmas, Chief.
Merry Christmas, Billy Boy.
All right, we're on to reports of standing committees. We have none. Reports of select committees. We have none. Reports of representatives. Alderman Gillum.
Yes. The Solid Waste District is having a public hearing the Monday, the 27th, 6:30 to 7:30 to deal with the budget. You may go online to get all information you need to do, or if you want to jump onto the meeting virtually, it's rcswd.com. All that information's there for the budget.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Alderman Gillum? If not, we're on to petitions, letters, miscellaneous communication. We have nothing. Board of Control Commissioners, we have nothing. Unfinished business. We have set the fiscal year 23 water and sewer rates.
So I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
The motion to suspend the rules has been seconded. Would all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And I'll move to approve the water and sewer rates effective April 1st, 2022, as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. It's been seconded to accept the rates as presented. Is there any comments, questions, discussion, debate? Alderman DePoy.
So just so the public is clear, and frankly, so I'm clear as well, when the rates go into effect on April 1st, that's all the water that's used after April 1st, or that's the first billing after April 1st? And it applies to water consumption
Solid question.
at that time? Because I don't even know.
Treasurer Markowski, do you know?
I don't know that anybody's ever asked that question,
I
to
don't
be
think
honest
so.
with you.
Yeah.
So, we usually at the budget will have, the last time the rates were effective 7/1,
Right.
right? So that would be the billing quarter, I believe, May through, is it May 15th?
Right. May 15th, right?
Yeah, to August, or,
So-
yeah, so that.
That effect
Would be the one.
April
That would
1st.
have August.
So the billing goes into effect April 1st. The first reading bill is due May 15th.
Yeah, I think that's what it would be, but I'm not sure.
But it should be from the last time they read the
Yeah.
meeting.
As of April 1, the last read would have been 215, around
Right.
May.
That's correct.
Would have been 215 in February.
I was just working with the billing periods, different than the read periods are different than the
Yeah.
billing periods.
Right.
So the bill that's due on May 1 has a read from November
To
to
February.
February, and so
Okay.
I don't think that would be in the April, as of April 1. Because that's exact bill. So, it is tough to figure out, but I think that the April 1 would be for the next reading period, through that April.
So the next read is May 15th, right? If it's
Right,
February
yeah.
15th, May 15th.
Yes.
So that read would include the new rates, whereas the read February 15th obviously would not.
That's 251, yeah.
And it's due 5/1. billing starts April 1, is that how that works?
Yeah.
So that's why my question, we're not going to bill for that due May 15th at the new rates. It would be the old rates.
I'm sorry to confuse, but I was just working with the auditors on the billing periods and the rate periods, so, yeah.
Okay. And then that still begs the question, so from February 15th to May 15th for the one due July 1st, is it, or
August.
what are those rates?
Those rates, I want to say those are those gonna have April? I guess I'm not really sure, but I think that one is gonna have, if you do April 1, effective, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the new rate actually for consumption, for people at home to know, the new rate goes into effect really February 15th or so with your consumption after February 15th.
I believe so, but I didn't check, you know what I mean? I was surprised when you said April 1st, actually.
Yeah.
Because the last rate increase was as of July 1,
Okay.
for the August one.
All right, and I mean, it's just that for people that aren't aware, I mean, mine's been consistent over the years, but there are some people that may have bigger usage and just they might get hit with a bill and say, well, wait a second here. So, as of February 15th then is what we're saying, that's when your consumption will reflect the new rates. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Alderman Garuso.
Yeah, I thought Alderman DeQuoy was going to bring up sewer treatment. Looks like the same for the city, town, Alpine Pipeline, and Reddick. I believe sewer collection's the same rate. And I did hear the commissioner say during the budget that the water rate was going to go down, the sewer rate was going to go up. We don't have a comparative here to know what that is, but he did say it's gone down, so it's kind of seems like a little bit of good news here. And I know the cost of sewage, he was telling us, was up anyway in the handling of it, so. But everybody's getting the same shake there, you know, a little different on the water, but the others are all the same, so just to pass that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll confirm that with the commissioner tomorrow of what the read period will be for that April 1, and then I'll, just to make sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have a motion. It's been seconded to accept the City of Rutland water and sewer rates as presented. Would all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're on to miscellaneous motions, resolutions, and new business. Is there any new business to come before the board? If not,
Just,
Alderman Franco.
yeah, I was just hoping we could get an update on the purchasing of the masks that we authorized. I don't know if there's a plan in place.
7,000 are on their way.
Perfect.
We've distributed 3,000. We have a couple thousand still in-house. So if there was a need, they're been responded to at this point in time. I've touched bases with Lyle Jepson 2 times. He's given out some, we've given out some, but if people need them, we have them. But at this point in time, there has not been a mad rush, thankfully, for masks. But we'll see how the holiday season brings that about.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any?
And Mr. President, while the chief is here, I don't need to have the chief make a statement on it or anything, but I would certainly hope that with the PD's numbers down as far as they are, that we're not responding to mask calls for people that are not masking. I mean, this board refused to pass a mask mandate in the city of Rutland, so I just hope that, you know, we're not wasting resources by going after people that aren't wearing their masks if they're told to by anybody.
I've not been made aware of any such requests for that service.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm, if I can follow up, I hope you don't respond to any of that.
Yeah, we wouldn't typically respond just to address the mask issue, but if someone gets unruly and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Disorderly conduct or something, of course. Thank you.
Any other new business to come before the board?
Just to wish folks Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
just want to say Merry Christmas. Thanks to everybody who supported me in the recent loss of my brother, and I brought a tree to hopefully bring up the spirit in my real Charlie Brown tie. So I hope everybody has a good Christmas, and thank you guys for being such a good board this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Grosso.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion to adjourn. It's been seconded. With all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.